Welcome, everyone, to Rutgers, the voice of college football. We've got a great show here for you tonight. We're going to be joined by DT Sheffield, star receiver for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. We've got some great questions for him. As always, joined by my fantastic co-host, Gabriel Pickup. Gabe, how's it going today? You got any updates for us?
As a matter of fact, I do. So this is going to be brief because we are expecting DT Sheffield on at any moment. The first update I have is that Rutgers is set to officially hire veteran NFL coach Mike Sullivan as senior offensive assistant, should I say. And this is huge because I would say this is the best offensive hire that we've had in a long time. Sierra's up there too, of course. But Mike Sullivan was the quarterback coach for Eli Manning, both of his Super Bowls. And he was offensive coordinator under Coach Schiano for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To me, this is a hire that really elevates this offense. I don't know what it'll translate to, but just know that with his knowledge, I think anything is possible offensively.
So who is this Sullivan guy? He's being hired as offensive assistant. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What is an offensive
Senior offensive? I would imagine it's just like a consultant role. Like anyone talks to him and he gives his insight about any position. I don't think it's limited. I mean, I would imagine that he's more quarterback specific because, like I said, he was a quarterback coach under your Giants. So, and he helped elevate Eli Manning into a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, my Giants, 86 Super Bowl champions, and then that huge 1990 win in the Super Bowl when Scott Norwood missed the field goal kick from 47 yards to give
Wide right.
Wide right. And then, of course, 2007, 2011, both times defeating the Patriots. And in one instance, when the Patriots were 15-0 and looking for the perfect season, denied. So I got some questions, Gabe, while we wait for DT to come on about Rutgers heading into the season. So who's going to win the QB battle?
I think it's going to end up being Lonergan with a very thin leash.
You think so?
Yeah, Jason, wide right. That's the two most infamous words in Buffalo sports.
Yeah, but why does Jason have a tear? That emoji with a tear. It should be happy because
you know what I imagine? I imagine he's one of those New Yorkers that's like, the Bills are the only New York team. Hello, kitty, kitty.
The Bills are New York State. That is not considered New York. It is considered the stepchild of New York City, the orphan of New York City, the divorcee of New York City. Jason
is the kicker Florida State alum? That would make sense.
Hey, Jason, so here's the thing. You're an FSU fan. So I graduated in 1997 from USC, and our first game of the year in 1997 was against Bobby Bowden and Florida State at the LA Coliseum. I was sitting on the 50-yard line with my best buddy, Nathan, and we lost to FSU 14-7. I don't know if you remember that game. It was close. FSU went on, I believe, to an 11-1 record that year with Thad Busby at the helm for FSU. Yeah, and they had Peter Warwick on the outside, great wide receiver, and E.G. Green, another great receiver for the Seminoles. That's right.
I'm glad that you're on the right side of history with this because Blue Jays Yankees, guess who Buffalo was rooting for, who they ended up congratulating? The Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I'll tell you, those Canadians, I have a problem with those Canadians. They say how nice they are. The second you disagree with them, they crucify you.
Oh, I just don't agree with you, eh?
They also say that the Canadians are good at hockey, but I don't know. I look at the Olympics, they couldn't win a game. I mean, what happened over there?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, they did beat us in that, whatever that world, what was that thing called? That all-star thing? World Nations, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. In the Olympics, when it mattered, Canada flopped like Russia did in 1980 in Lake Placid.
Bingo. So,
that's all I'm saying.
So yeah, anyways, about Mike Sullivan.
I don't like your flag, too, with that leaf on it. I don't like it. Redesign it. Make it more interesting.
Well, I mean, what about the Toronto Maple Leafs? They would have to redesign their whole logo.
They're equally as bad. But, yeah, Jason, the 1997 game was 14-7. 1998, not as close. I believe it was 31-13 in Tallahassee in favor of the Noles.
You know what else I just thought about while we're waiting here? I just remembered. I sent in the chat, but I think it's FanDuel that has us at 4.5 over under. So it's a little lower than the 5.5, 6.5 that we were hoping it would be.
4.5 for what?
Season wins in 2026.
They have us at 4.5 over under.
Yeah, it's a little low.
Well, that brings me back to those questions I was going to ask. I mean, when you look at the schedule, we've got a pretty tough schedule with Michigan, Indiana, USC, Nebraska, all coming in to SHI Stadium. And, of course, we're going at Penn State, and we're going into Camp Randall in Wisconsin. And don't forget about that Boston College game, the revenge game for the Eagles. Having lost their star quarterback, Lonergan, they're going to be revenge-minded.
They are, and it's certainly not a guarantee that we even win that game. Any Power 4 game, it's no guarantee when any two teams face off that we can predict the outcome. Unless it's Rutgers, Oregon, then it's pretty certain. But outside of that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting how this season's going to go because it's all going to come down to if the defense can improve. Because if you look at the points we scored, if our defense had been dominant, it would have been a special year. 4.5 is concerning, yes.
Yeah.
The schedule is difficult, but it's not that difficult. Well, the benefit is that our toughest games are at home, but I'm not so sure that we're going to be able to pull off an upset victory multiple times here. I'm not sure. That brings me to our next question, Gabe. Who do you think is the team that we're most likely to upset this upcoming year?
I know that Donovan thinks it could be Penn State. I don't see it at all. I think Nebraska feels like a win, even though they're the better team.
But that's not an upset.
Are you sure?
I'm trying to be optimistic.
I think it is. I think most of these games, besides the first couple of weeks, are going to be upsets if we win.
Right. Well,
I think it's Nebraska. To be honest, though, I don't know too much about their offense. They could. I know that their offense was inconsistent last year, but that's because Raiola was out just throughout the second half of the year.
The offense will likely be led by long-haired rock star TJ Lateef, who's shown some promises of greatness, but still very, very young. They'll have to rely on their offensive line if their offense is going to improve, because Nebraska's offensive line was not good this past year.
Yeah.
They need improvement in that area. But I have said it once, and I will say it twice. On upset alert is Indiana.
Nope.
At SHI Stadium. Yes, sir, because Indiana has lost Fernando Mendoza, and that was the heartbeat of that team, and they have lost a lot on defense.
You know who's getting Heisman next year? Josh Hoover.
Who's that?
Their quarterback.
I know who he is. I'm kidding. Why is he getting the Heisman?
Because it's about the coaching, and Cignetti is the perfect coach for Indiana. He has elevated them every year that he's been there, and I think it's going to show through that offense when they don't miss a step next year with Nick Marsh and Josh Hoover, that 1-2 connection. I think that Nick Marsh could easily win the Biletnikoff Award, and I do think that Josh Hoover is going to win the Heisman.
I don't know. I think Indiana is going to have a little bit of a drop-off, and that is going to be upset alerts at SHI Stadium. I don't think we beat USC. I don't think we beat Michigan, and I don't think I don't think we're going to be successful on the road in Camp Randall. Camp Randall is a very, as they say, campy place to play. The team is not necessarily that good, but the fans and that atmosphere somehow elevate Wisconsin sometimes.
To be honest, that wouldn't even be an upset, though, if we won that game. I think we'll be favored going into that.
I think we'll be underdogs by 3.5.
I think it would be based on how we played that, up to that point. But as things stand right now, I bet that we're not the upset if we win that game.
Speaking of that, let's go through the Rutgers schedule and get our predicted spreads for each schedule.
Yes. And also, while you're doing that, my last pick update is Christian Ezien. If you folks remember him, he signed with the Lions this past week. And Isaiah Pacheco is with the Lions too. So we have 2 Scarlet Knights joining Detroit. And though they were, different eras at Rutgers, that's still pretty cool to have that connection. It's not often that you get 2 Rutgers players on the same team in the NFL.
Are they joining the Tigers or the Lions?
They be joining the Lions.
Oh, okay. Well, Lions, I'll tell you, they had a lot of promise this year. It didn't really pan out for them, but
No.
that loss in the Super Bowl one.
Honestly, I don't think that I hate to say it, I don't think that Isaiah Pacheco is necessarily an upgrade over David Montgomery either.
Yeah, he may not be, but all I know about the Lions is you got to root for them on Thanksgiving. Jason, I wouldn't say Camp Randall is that intimidating, but it's, I don't know. At night, the Wisconsin defenses always play very, very well, and I think it's just when I think of Rutgers on the road, I get nervous. We almost lost to Purdue, so it's more of a general feeling. When we're playing a fairly legitimate team on the road, it could spell trouble. But speaking of that, we open the season next year against UMass. So what's your spread for the UMass game?
Oh, I thought that you were saying that the spreads were all up.
No, they're not. We're going to set them. Vegas is going to listen to us because we're going to have accurate predictions. So
I'm saying it's going to be – it's tough because UMass is FBS, but they're bottom of the FBS, like, significantly. I'm going to say like 18 or 19 and a half in our favor.
I got 21 and a half.
I was going to say 16 or 17, but I got to do us some justice. And honestly, that would set the tone for how the rest of the season looks.
I got 21 and a half. And what's your final prediction for that game?
I think that we're going to cover the spread and win 41-21. I know that 21 is not very good, but it's going to take this defense some time, much like last year. Let's just hope they figure it out a little quicker.
I got 42-17, so we're pretty much on the same page.
Look at us. What's the next? And, I think that we could be seeing DT here in a little bit because I think he got that little green button on the IG, not to sound like a creep.
Hey, it's okay. We're looking forward to having him on and asking him some great questions.
Yeah, so week 2, it's Boston College.
Boston College, here's the big one. This is the early hump game for Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm saying we're favored 15 and a half, and I don't think we cover.
Okay, I think we are favored by 7.
You don't think that's a very small margin?
We are favored by 7. And we do not cover, and we get upset.
Come on.
24-20.
All right, I think we don't cover, but I still think we win. I think we win by around 10. I'm saying this is going to be an odd score, but I'm feeling it. 33-23.
Interesting.
A lot of field goals.
Well, one of us is going to be way off on that one, so that's going to be an interesting game. And then of course, the third game of the season, the Trojans of Southern Cal invade SHI Stadium after a long flight from Los Angeles International Airport into Newark Airport, a flight I've done many times. I've watched some of my most favorite movies and drank my most favorite drinks on those long flights.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the spread is there?
I'm saying it's not going to be pretty. I'm saying I could see it being 20.5.
I like USC being favored by 14 and a half.
Okay, I would like to call it 14 and a half. I think we would cover the 20 and a half. I still think we would lose by like 17 though.
That's what I think too. I could see that game being kind of like a 38-17 or 38-20 USC win.
Yeah, essentially this skit is really just what does the public think and do we think the public is right?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, because after that, I'm going to tell you something. They have bison in Montana. I was in Montana. Those bison were scary when I was there. And so should we fear the Howard bison when they
USC did lose to Maryland?
Yeah, they did lose to Maryland. It was like 30-27 or something like that. Terrible, terrible loss. And USC is different on the road, that's for sure.
It could be 19-17 them.
USC also lost to Illinois this year on the road in Champaign.
That doesn't say too much, though, in my opinion. Illinois is one of those B-tier programs.
Yeah.
Where they're always good, but they're never in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of different tiered programs, I have to express my dismay that Long Island University basketball has decided to actually play Arizona.
Come back to this when they beat Arizona.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So the Howard Bison.
You know what that means? That means that Donovan Gibbs will be on call for that game.
Yeah, Donovan couldn't join us tonight. He is on a plane in South Carolina somewhere.
I'm glad you said that and not what you were going to say.
Wish him well. Well, Donovan certainly cannot be with us anymore, unfortunately.
That's what he was going to say.
So the Howard Bison, I've got us favored by 30.
Whew. Against how? I mean, that's not crazy. I would say maybe 28.5 if I was going to nitpick. And I think we cover. I think we win by 38, maybe 48-10.
I was going to say 48-10, exactly.
No freaking way, dude.
Yes, I swear.
That is amazing.
That is actually right on the money. See, guys, we got chemistry. And then the Indiana Hoosiers and the great Kurt Signetti come into SHI Stadium.
I want to hear what your spread is going to be.
I'm going to be at that game, but let me tell you something. When I go up from my section, and I order a sangria, they better not tell me we don't take cash and send me on a journey halfway across the stadium to get this little credit card that you have to use. So the spread's probably going to be, I would say, Indiana 24.
I think it's going to be a little deeper than that. I think it's going to be 27 or 28. And unfortunately, I think they cover pretty convincingly. I think that could be the Oregon of this year. 55, not 55 per se, but maybe like 52 to like 14, maybe 7.
I'm going to go 48-27, Indiana.
I thought you said you were calling the upset.
I said it's upset alert.
That's not very much of an alert. 3 scores.
Well, it's going to be close after the third quarter. Indiana's going to pull away late.
So kind of like Ohio a little bit.
It's something like that.
I mean, Ohio pulled away in the third quarter, but still.
Speaking of Ohio State, Bradley Weaver with that unsportsmanlike penalty at the end of the second quarter. Really. It's 14-9.
He was the reason that we were in that game to begin with, though.
Yeah, but then he took it all back.
But it's like if
the Indian giver, here, have a diamond ring. Oh, you know what? I want it back now. And then he crushes Julian Say and costs us that penalty, and they score, and that's the end of the game.
But we were never saying we were going to win that game. We were saying it would be nice if it was close.
If anybody said we were going to win that game, they should be in prison for at least 30 days. So you've got I've got 48-27 Indiana. What do you have?
Yeah, I said 52-14 or 52-7.
Okay. And then we have a very mysterious team, a team that can be very, very bad, but sometimes be quite good. That's College Park, Maryland. What do you think?
I think we win again. I'm saying we go 2 for 2 in the last 2. Are they going to treat this as the rivalry game again? Or is that Penn State this year?
There is no rivalry game between us and Maryland. We're not good enough to have a rivalry. What is this rivalry?
Neither are they recently.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good quarterback, but he was a freshman last year, a little bit raw. I remember the first play of the game, he ran for 70 yards and scored.
Yep. And he had 150 yards rushing at half. But still, we found a way to win, and we had a good second half defensively. I'm saying we win that one 28-21.
Yeah, I think we're going to win that one 30-20.
About the same, yeah. And honestly, this could be the first one-score game of the year. I mean, everything else, it seems like it's one-sided.
Yeah. Well, next week, of course, you have this scrappy team, very bizarre team in Illinois, a very academic team in Northwestern. Northwestern is one of those weird athletic programs. Like a few days ago, they handed USC baseball their first loss of the season. USC was 7-0 up to that point. Still, they're not a very good team, but sometimes they rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
What do you think? I think the spread there is going to be probably, I would say, Rutgers 7.5.
I was thinking maybe, 6.5, maybe 5.5, anywhere down to 4.5. And unfortunately, this is an upset game. This really could be. To me, this is the game of my theoretical quarterback versus our actual quarterback, because we are facing off against Aiden Childs, who I defended all transfer portal as a good quarterback, and that nobody wanted to rock with me on that.
How many times did I say we need to go after Aiden Childs? And everyone called me crazy. Well, now Northwestern's got him, and we're going to see. If Aiden Childs dominates, Aiden Childs dominates, we're all going to be like, Lamparello was right. It is what it is.
And if Ethan Childs dominates, then we should be a little concerned.
I called him Ethan. I know. You didn't have to call that jerk. And then, the next week, when I lived in Indiana for 4 years in Fort Wayne, a couple of times I went up to Michigan. I found Michigan to be a very dreary place. Very dreary. People were only moderately happy. And the weather really wasn't very nice. But Ann Arbor, Michigan, beautiful campus there. And a quarterback in Bryce Underwood, they say is going to be a breakout star next year. I've got Michigan favored by 17 in that game.
They'll be favored a little more than that, I think. I think maybe 23. I could see it going up to 24 or 25. And I think this could be a blowout loss too, unfortunately. I think that they're going to win because they're going to get 40, and we're going to get really like between 3 and 10.
You know what I think? I think it's going to be a loss, but not – the score isn't going to be as high. I think it's going to be something along the lines of like 27-3.
Yeah, it depends how Bryce is his sophomore year. Is he going to take that next step that many sophomores do, or without Justice Haynes, without several of his receivers from last year, is he going to plateau?
Justice Haynes is guilty, in my opinion, for leaving Michigan.
Ironic that Justice is guilty.
Justice Haynes, I adjudicate you guilty for leaving.
They picked up another running back. I forget his name, but Justice wasn't aware of that, and this new running back is like just as good, if not better.
Yeah, well, we shall see, certainly. So the next week, we have what we've been talking about and disagreeing upon is Camp Randall.
Yeah.
I think Rutgers, they're going to be favored by, I think 3.5 Wisconsin's going to be favored by.
You think, okay, I'm saying it's going to be a little Uno reverse, and we're going to be favored by 3.5. And I think we cover by somewhere between 4 and 6. I'm saying maybe 26-20.
Okay, I've got Wisconsin winning that game 20-16.
Well, like I said, it's that's going to be the game to me where it's like, do we belong in the Big Ten for the permanent future?
Yeah, and then the next week we come back to SHI Stadium, and there's that movie in the 80s, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Children of the Corn.
I have not.
A great horror movie, Children of the Corn, takes place in Gatlin, Nebraska, where a young couple accidentally finds themselves in the midst of a cult in Nebraska of very evil young people who like to sacrifice innocent civilians on an almost daily basis. Children of the Corn. So the Children of the Corn come to SHI Stadium. I think Nebraska is going to be favored by 2.5.
I think they're going to be favored more, maybe 5.5. 5.5 feels about right. But I think we're going to win. That's the game. I think that we're going to pull off an upset and win 23-20.
Okay. I've got Nebraska winning that game. If I had to pick a score, probably 20-17 Nebraska.
So that's like the same score as Wisconsin, isn't it?
Yes, very similar.
That would be funny. And that would probably make our blood pressures rise a little bit if we lost by the same score against two very beatable programs.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Minnesota.
Minnesota, Iowa. It was very similar those 2 weeks.
Yeah, Iowa just owned that fourth quarter. So then we go to, I don't know why they call it Happy Valley, because whenever I'm in the middle of Pennsylvania, I'm decidedly unhappy. What do you think happens in Happy Valley? I've got Penn State favored by 10.5.
I'm saying they're favored by around, something like that, maybe 12.5 at most. And I think they cover by a few points, maybe win 34-20. I just think that their offense is about the same, if not, revitalized from last year into this year, with the addition of Rocco Becht, with new head coach from Iowa State, I think Matt Campbell is his name.
I like any quarterback who's named Rocco.
Rocco, it's a sick name.
Rocco does. He goes out. Go ahead.
They have a Rocco Becht, but we have a respect. So maybe he pulls off a freshman sack of Rocco.
Yeah, maybe. But when I think of Rocco Becht, I think goes out there, throws for 300 yards, and hits the bar and drinks a 12-pack. That's Rocco Becht for you.
Yeah, but regardless, I do think that they're going to win by around 14. I love to predict that Penn State will have a demise again, but it's very much it's a lot more unlikely. I know that they didn't have the best luck with recruitment besides the transfer portal, but to me, this year is going to revamp them into just under that blue blood tier again.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. And as the season nears its close, East Lansing, Michigan, very depressing place. Michigan State Spartans, they come into SHI Stadium, and I think they get greeted with a loss. I think Rutgers is favored by 6.5 in that game, and wins the game 27-17.
Honestly, I feel bad for Michigan State fans because in basketball they're really good. I mean, Michigan's finally better than them in basketball, but usually Michigan State is the basketball team of Michigan. But in football, they haven't had the luck. And, we've been fortunate to keep Raymond, to keep KJ Duff. But, we kept Athan after his junior year. But unfortunately, man, Michigan State, anytime they develop talent, it seems like they just up and leave. So I feel bad, but I think that they're going to be in the same place this year as last year. And I'm saying in Piscataway, we are going to win possibly by 3 or 4 possessions, and we'll be favored by, I want to say 7.5, 8.5, but I think that we'll cover that pretty convincingly. And I don't think that he's on the hot seat right now, but I do think, and I stressed this all offseason, that he should have a win number to shoot for to keep his job. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just going to be Kelly Zinn playing it by vibes, seeing each week the wins and losses and how they come about. I don't think that his job is secure 100% for the foreseeable future, but seeing how she's handled the basketball staff, I don't think that he's the first one that's going to be fired.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat, Jason, coming into this season. But if they win 5 games, even 6 games, he will be on the hot seat.
And that's just the hot seat. That's not even being fired for it.
Yeah, they're not going to let this go on for more than 2 years. So if it's a disappointing season, which I suspect, I don't know if it'll be a quote-unquote disappointing season. I mean, with the level of competition we're playing, I do see maybe 5 or 6 wins. Then I think 2027 is the hot seat. And if they don't improve then, I do think he will be in trouble.
I don't think that he goes before Steve Pickiel goes. We better do better than 4 wins. I know that this is the Big Ten, and we're not anywhere near the top of the Big Ten, but I still think that's a crazy number.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good predictions. We're close on some, disagree on others, and that's all good. So,
yes.
Right now, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that we should do maybe one more segment just in case we have, some sort of time discrepancy here. Of course, DT is in Central Time in Mississippi. I said 7, but I did say Eastern, but who knows?
I think he's delayed, and there might be an issue with the time discrepancy. So I was thinking, we can come back on when DT is ready, and we'll alert all our viewers.
I don't think that I'm cool just to think of something, man. Maybe let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'm struggling right now, so maybe you're right.
Yeah, I think yeah. So DT's delayed.
But yes, he should still be coming.
We got notice that he's a bit delayed. So when he's ready to come on, we're gonna send out a new link, and we're gonna start the show with the interview we have planned for him, guys. So stay tuned. We'll be back, and thanks so much for being here. Look for that link coming up very shortly, and we're looking forward to a great interview with DT. He's got some great stuff to say. So go Scarlet Knights. We'll see you soon.
See y'all soon. Go Scarlet Knights.